Here's $1 trillion. Go buy McDonald's. Not one restaurant, not a franchise, the whole thing. Every set of golden arches on Earth. Sounds impossible. It isn't even close. McDonald's is worth about 200 billion. You've got $1 trillion, so you could buy the entire company and then buy it 4 more times. Which leaves one stupid little question. What did you actually just buy? Because it is not what's on the menu. Let's do it properly. You wire the money. The arches are yours. 45,000 restaurants, every single one in your name. Picture that. 45,000 kitchens, grills running in 120 countries. Right now, somewhere on the planet, your restaurants are selling about 75 hamburgers a second. You are officially the biggest fast food owner alive. King of the burger, emperor of fries. Except you're not, and you're about to find out why. Walk into one of your restaurants. Try to change the menu. You can't.
Hold on, I own the whole company, and I can't add a pickle?
You can't. You don't own that restaurant. Somebody else does. 95% of all the McDonald's out there are run by franchisees. Regular people who took a loan, bet their savings, and bought the right to flip burgers under your arches. You bought the company. They own the store. Try to drop a price. You can't. Try to fire a rude manager. He doesn't work for you. Try to close a store that's bleeding money. You can't do that either. Somebody signed a 20-year lease to run it, and now the two of you are stuck with each other for another 19. You own the most famous name in food, and you cannot touch a single fry sold under it. So what did the trillion actually buy? Follow the money. This is where it gets strange. The burgers your company flips itself, from the 2,000 stores McDonald's actually runs, bring in about $9.5 billion a year. Real money. But look at the return. On burgers alone, you'd break even sometime in the 22nd century. So that is clearly not where the trillion went. Your 95%, the franchisees, hand you $16.5 billion, almost double. So open the franchisee's wallet and count what they actually pay you to stand under your sign. $45,000 just to sign the papers. Then 4 cents of every dollar they ring up. That's the royalty, rent on the name. Then another 4 cents in the dollar, into the advertising fund. Yes, the franchisee pays for the ads. They fund the "I'm lovin' it" commercials for the burgers they are already selling on your behalf. And they hand it all over whether they have a record year or a brutal one. You've stopped making your real money on food. You now make money on people who make money on food.
Okay, so what am I actually charging them for?
Fees, royalties, ad money. Add every cent of it up and it's still not where the real money lives. The big one. The one nobody sees coming. Rent.
Rent? They pay me rent?
They pay you for the ground they stand on. McDonald's owns the land, owns the building, and leases it all straight back to the person flipping the burgers. How big is the big one? Rent alone brings you $10.5 billion a year. That is more than all the burgers your own company sells. Combined. A man named Harry Sonneborn built the whole thing on one idea in the late 1950s. And the line he's remembered for pulls no punches.
We are not in the food business. We are in the real estate business. The only reason we sell hamburgers is they pay the rent.
The hamburger was just the tenant. He even built a separate company for it. Its name wasn't Burgers, it was Franchise Realty. And here is the part that makes the whole thing run by itself. You buy the land once, at a price fixed decades ago. That cost never moves again. But the rent you charge isn't a flat number. It's a slice of the franchisee's sales. 10 cents on the dollar, often more. So your cost is frozen in the past, and your income floats up with every price rise, every busy summer. Every year the dollar buys a little less. Forever. Sonneborn's real trick was never owning dirt. It was locking his costs in 1960 and letting his rent chase the future. And each of those leases is worth something to a bank. So you borrow against them and buy more land, which you rent out, which pays for more land. So, mystery solved? A landlord in a clown suit? Not even close, because it leaves the one question nobody asks. If you're a landlord, why on earth are you selling hamburgers at all? Think about what a franchisee actually does for you. They find a corner. They pour their life savings into it. They work 80-hour weeks. You work 0. They train the staff, mop the floors, and eat the risk if the town turns on them. And every single thing they do makes that corner busier. More cars, more traffic, more reason for the next business to fight to be next door. With their own sweat and their own money, they are making your patch of dirt worth more. They pay off your building, then they hand you the keys and walk away. And remember, the rent isn't fixed, it climbs with their sales. A brutal winter, a boom summer, a decade of quiet inflation. All of it flows one direction, uphill, to you. You might be the only landlord alive who gets richer 3 ways at once. When your tenant works harder, when the neighborhood fills in around them, and when money itself loses value. And they thank you for the chance. So look at what the hamburger really is. The hamburger was never the product. The hamburger is the machine. It's the thing that pulls 2 million workers onto your corners day after day and turns raw dirt into some of the best located retail land on the planet. You didn't buy a burger chain. You bought 45,000 of the best located plots of ground on Earth, and an army of operators who bet their own savings to make that ground worth more, and pay you rent forever for the privilege. That's what $1 trillion actually bought. Oh, and the change. Remember the change? You had $1 trillion. The whole company at market value ran you $200 billion. You're still holding the change, enough to buy McDonald's 4 more times over. You could. You won't, and now you finally get why. You've got $800 billion left to burn, and the only thing you want to buy with it now is more dirt. Because you own the one thing that gets more valuable exactly when money gets less. Print a flood of new dollars and your rent, a slice of ever-rising prices, just quietly climbs to match. Inflation doesn't rob you, it works for you. Why would you ever sell the one machine that makes other people build your empire for free? And that land mostly moves one direction, up. Over decades, it barely knows how to do anything else. 2 million people are working overtime to push it there, for you. So did you buy a burger company? Or did a burger company just make you its landlord? And here's the part that should keep you up tonight. McDonald's isn't the only one. Costco barely makes a cent on the groceries. The money is the membership and the ground the warehouse sits on. IKEA built a mile-long maze so you'd walk past everything it sells, on land it owns. The gym, the coffee chain, the car lot in your own town. Half of them are landlords in a costume. The biggest ones never look like landlords. That is the whole trick, but that's a different trillion. Here's $1 trillion. Go buy McDonald's.